Hello again, everyone. I'm Gary Gonzo. Welcome to P1 broadcasting coverage of cooperation with the FTN of Round 9 of the inaugural season of the ISRA Xfinity Series. We come to you tonight from, this place might as well be China to me because it's about as foreign as it can be, being that I'm an IndyCar guy. But we are at Bristol Motor Speedway, and I believe I was talking in the pre-race. I think this might be my fourth ever broadcasted race from here. So certainly I'm very happy to have alongside me Mark Murphy, who has raced here at least 3 times as many times as I have. And I feel a lot more confident when we're talking about the action on this racetrack that he knows what's going on. Mark, how's it going?
Nobody has ever accused me of knowing what's going on, Gary, however. I have been to several races here. I think I've been to the spring race here probably at least a half a dozen times as a fan. And what a wonderful facility. You talk about Bristol, half mile, high banked, completely enclosed, such that they play a college football game in the infield.
Yeah.
It is very fast. It's very furious. There are 2 distinct lines here. It is very difficult to complete a pass. It's not difficult to get alongside of somebody, but it's very difficult to complete a pass. And you're going to have to make a choice as a driver here, whether or not you want to burn off the right front or the right rear, according to what line you're going to run. There's a reason that this track is known for action, and that's because in some cases you more or less have to use the bumper in order to make a pass. And so we may see cautions here, which for the ISRA isn't something that we see a lot of, but we may see cautions. The other thing that I want our viewers to watch out tonight, the host with the most, Mike Rigney, has set the pit lane to single pit road. And so what that means is there is 1 pit road entrance. It is off of turn 2. And my bet is that we're going to have at least 1 person tonight miss pit road.
Uh-oh.
This track is very fast. You're cutting laps in the 13-14 second range, 14.942 for Pepto Joe right now. Michael Goodman, a 14.817.
Goodman on the pole. Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna see racing laps probably in the 14.9 to 15 second region. But it's very easy, Gary, to get disoriented because the laps are so fast.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, if you're not paying attention, and I've done this here, you can lose track even under caution of which side of the racetrack you're on. Unlike most other places,
right?
The grandstand looks different on the front or the back.
Yeah.
Or there's some sort of identifying physical feature that makes you understand where you're at. Here, there is none of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a stadium. It's completely enclosed. It's very easy to lose your bearings and not understand where you are and make a mistake getting on pit road.
Yeah, that's the couple of times that I've raced here, I've had that issue where am I in turn 2 or am I in turn 3? It's am I on the front stretch? Am I on the back stretch? Do I see a flag stand? That's kind of really the only way that I can tell.
Yeah, and that's what these guys are going to need to do. They're going to need to, when it comes time to make a green flag pit stop, there is a chance of that. Or if it's under caution, you need to pick up the flag stand to understand where you're at. And don't do what Mark Martin did, which is pull down pit road before the race is over if it ends under caution. You don't necessarily want to follow the guy that's in front of you. You want to make sure that you are aware of where you are. But we do have a starting field here. 19 cars, Gary.
Yes.
20 cars. I take it back. 20. How about that?
Now let's get a starting lineup in here as we are getting ready to go green here very, very shortly.
and we're already getting ready to come to get the green flag. It should be 2 pace laps, although
should be 2 pace laps here. So do you want to put up the points real quick on the screen? And then you see Michael Goodman is the leader, and he is on the pole, 291 points, 10-point lead over Crow. Crow with a 2-point lead over Wagner. Wagner with a 31-point lead over Callisto, and Callisto with a 13-point lead over Flanagan. And that's your top 5. Your remainder is you see Hearn, Rigney, Hayes, Evans, Fallis, Van Voorellis, Stretch, Reagan, Darth Maul, and Vern Hawkins, your top 15 coming to green.
The iRacing pace car passes the Last Great Coliseum sign coming out of turn 3 and 4. He's going to take a hard left down onto pit lane. Michael Goodman hits the accelerator and he is gone. Big jump for Michael Goodman. Chris Reagan going to slide into second. Kirby third, although he's going to face a challenge from Greg Evans in fourth. And that, friends, is how quick a lap goes by at Bristol. We're already on lap 2, coming to lap 3. We're going to do about 4 laps a minute here. So this race, if there's no cautions, is going to go extremely quickly. And already we've got some big movers that have shown themselves early here.
Goodman, Evans, Reagan, Clapper, Hawkins, your top 5. Hawkins already up 2 spots, working the high line here. Last week's winner, trying to get a back-to-back here on the high side of Justin Kirby there in the Aflac car. That's Clapper in the Aflac car, excuse me. Kirby in the 57 Black Magic car. Is that one of your Black Magic designs from your house?
You know, it could be. It could be. Andy paints a lot of cars, and so he could have ordered one. Good to see the Black Magic crew represented out here tonight. Really good to see that. That is a knot of cars right there. From
yes,
Vern
it is.
Hawkins back to Big John. They're in kind of a wad. Now they're getting single file back. You got Sam Crow on the outside of Kirby. We got a caution.
There it is. Pepto Joe. Oh, and we're all in one another back here.
Yeah, and that's
not Pepto Joe. Pepto Joe kind of just made through it. Well, let's see what happened. Where did that start?
Well, it's gonna start. It's gonna start up at the front of this whole line of cars we're following. It is Pepto Joe that kicks it off. He gets into the 14.
Okay, that's
Vern Hawkins.
Vern, yep.
I don't know that it was necessarily so much Pepto Joe getting into Vern's. It looked like Vern came up a little bit, tried to fill the hole. You and I kind of talked about that. You got to be real careful when you're on the bottom clearing, and it looked like Vern, tried to clear himself and
almost got flipped there.
Yeah, and then you've got these high bank concrete tracks.
Oh, and then Say Hey Lewis Hayes gets caught up. Callisto in this one. Rick D's in this one, the 15 in this one, the 20 in this one. Hugo Gallas trying to get woed down. A little bit of a kiss there on the front bumper. Hopefully his car is okay, but looks like we got a number of guys that are going to execute that fast repair a lot earlier than they wanted to.
I wouldn't. Bristol is not an aerodynamic track.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get it back to pit lane, get 4 tires on that baby, and get it back out, you might not be in too bad a shape.
Well, do you really want to put 4 tires on? I mean, it's I know you talked about it, that this place is not horribly rough on tires, but skidding them across the surface can't be good for the health of the tires. Do you want to go ahead and throw a new set on when you only have 3 in the pits and 1 in the car to start the race?
This early, I probably wouldn't, and I'll give you my other reason that I wouldn't do it this early. I'll give you the other reason I wouldn't necessarily do it this early. is if you've got damage, like if you're Lionel Callisto and you've got damage, you've probably got a minute or two of repair in there. Well, you're in the back, and so pit road here is such that you can't really affect a lot of repair. Changing tires takes time. It's 16 seconds and they're not working on the car. And so for that reason alone, if I was involved in this crash and I was trying to stay on the lead lap, I would not change my tires.
Okay.
I would forgo that. You see them, I mean, you gotta get on pit road, and then you got to get whatever service you can get done. Even under caution, they're running, even under caution, it's a 47-second lap. So you want to maximize that time. You may only get 20 seconds in your pit box.
Now it looks like we are coming to green. We're lined up in the unfamiliar 2x2 restart, and Goodman, another great restart, but this time he has Greg Evans with him, and Evans going to take a look to the low side through 1 and 2.
That's right. Lionel Callisto, by the way, is still on pit lane. He has the fastest lap, but he remains on pit lane, and 2x2 they go. The front 3 or 4 seems to be all clear, but back in the back here, just ferocious racing. Richie Hearn has come from what? He started 11th.
Yeah, he's up 6 spots.
Yeah, he's up 6. Great run for Richie Hearn.
And that's his teammate right in front of him, Chris Reagan.
Yeah, and they're going to start working on. He's going to start working on Evan Clapper there. They've got Clapper kind of trapped down on the bottom, which I said there were 2 lines, and it's going to be a battle of who prevails. The top is really preferred for speed, at least early in the run. If you run the top too much, you run the risk of burning off the right rear. The way you kind of drive these cars around here, it's almost like a non-wing sprint car on dirt. You kind of feel it off the right rear, and so when you're going fast on the top here, you can really chew up that right rear. You got to be careful. The bottom's a little bit better for saving tires. Uses up the legs a little bit more. It's probably the preferred way to go around here in the long run. But you can really make time on the top. You can see Pedro Joe. He's going to go by Evan here. And that's a commitment there for Evan Clapper. He's going to run the bottom. He's going to stick to his guns. He's going to let Pedro Joe go and say, look, I'll see you in about 20 or 30 laps. But it's not easy to make that pass. See, Pepto Joe goes up the hill. He kind of turns it down. Diamond's the corner off. He's gonna inch ahead into turn 1. Now he's off at 2, but he's half a car length behind, so he's gonna make that up down the back straight. He's gonna sail it off a little bit into turn 3, but it's almost like a yo-yo.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? It's almost like they yo-yo back and forth together. It's a very interesting way to race here. And you might spend 15, 20, 30 laps trying to clear a guy. If he doesn't want to be cleared off that bottom, finally Clapper gives up the spot. But if he didn't want to be cleared off that bottom, it's going to take quite a bit of effort to execute that pass.
Yeah, 15 up on the wall.
It's Jake Euler there.
Jake is rolling around with a little damage. Again, not wanting to use the fast repair.
The thought is here, cautions breed cautions, right? If I've only got a minute or...
And it looks like Euler into the barrier coming to pit road, I think. And
yeah, he's going to get it off. He's going to get it off, though.
He's going to get it off, but it looks like the only one to use a fast repair is Lionel Callisto. Everyone else that was involved in the incident has not used their fast repair yet.
They have not. Now we've got 2 differing philosophies up at the front. Michael Goodman running the top, Greg Evans running the bottom. Where have we seen this before? Chris Reagan is at the top of the racetrack.
And Reagan's brought Hearn with him.
Yeah, they're kind of running a little bit different stuff. They're kind of taking that modified line. I talked with Matty Wagner, the stock car race before this one, and there's kind of there's the high line, there's the low line, and then there's kind of a modified line. And the 19 and the 70 seem to be doing that, where they're using a high line to enter the corner, and then they're driving it straight down the hill on exit and coming off on the bottom. When you do that, you minimize the chance that you're going to spin out on corner exit. because you heat up that right rear, see, and when you hit the gas, come off the corner, it just wants to turn loose with you. Well, those two are minimizing that because they have the wheel straight coming off the corner almost.
Looking in chat, Drag Racing King 12 says, hi, hello, there is 4, and I'm banning all of you. Okay. Not sure what they're 4 of.
I'm happy to get banned if that's what it takes.
That's what it takes.
If that's what it takes, you can ban me, Drag Racing King. We're fine.
Watching this battle up at the front between Goodman and Evans. So this is your points leader. And then the guy has been hot ever since he's joined the league in Charlotte, and pretty much now into the second half of the season. He's finished second place the last 2 races, but not certainly without trying to get that victory.
Yeah, and here's the other one. Here's the other one that I think I'm kind of keeping an eye on. Lana Callisto's back on the track. He's 5 laps down. This series does have a lucky dog. Jake Euler back out 4 laps down. We do have a lucky dog here. So, it's Bristol.
Caution.
Yep.
Caution. Sam Crow. Nope. Who is it? Hey, I don't know who it is. It's everything all over the place now. Idriani. And Idriani was below Say Hey Lewis Hayes. And we'll watch this going in. Comes up into him. This is on the back stretch.
That was almost identical to the first accident we saw, where that was almost identical to the first accident. And then Indriani comes down and unfortunately going to get into the 20 of Hugo Gallas. Kind of an innocent bystander there, but
oh, poor. That's almost the same thing that happened to Gallas on the last one. He kind of just rolled into it, slowed down, and just kind of kissed bumpers with someone. But that one's a little bit more of a serious hit there, and we are back under caution for the second time.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt old Hugo's car all that much, especially not at Bristol. I think the tide ride will be just fine. I think, there's another one of those things I was just saying. Okay, if you're Lionel Callisto, you do all that work, you get back out 5 laps down. Jake Euler comes back up 4 down.
Here comes Evans, followed by Richie Hearn. Pepto Joe probably get that front end looked at. Here comes Sam Crow, also on pit road, Justin Kirby. So everyone pretty much in the middle portion of the pack on back is coming to pit road.
Leader did not pit. Correct?
No, Leader did not pit. Goodman stayed out. So did Reagan. So the team of Reagan and Hearn splitting strategies right now. Grandin has moved himself up to 4th. Pepto Joe, we're all still cycling through. Lex looks like that's going to be Callisto now is in the middle portion of this group.
Got Garrett Drake in the chat saying hello. How you doing this evening, Garrett? Good to see you. Time will tell. If Goodman can make that same escape that he made at the start of this race, I don't really see how not having tires is going to hurt him. The other thing these caution laps did, I thought I had figured you could do about 130 laps on gas. And so, these caution laps just make it that much closer to not having to worry about fuel at the end of this thing. It is, by my count now, theoretically possible, Gary. We could have a no stop here.
Yeah, I would say we're getting close to that actual number of a no stopper. And believe me, there is an IndyCar driver in that lineup that is going through their head right now.
I guarantee you it has. I guarantee you it has crossed the minds of most of our friends that are used to driving without doors or without Dales. The fuel calculation starts in the 3 or 4 days that you use when you come in practice, and you check VRS and you say, hey, I can go X amount of laps on a tank of gas, and it just goes from there. And I guarantee you Michael Goodman's done that math.
Yep, and we're getting ready to go green here very shortly. Again, the rule set for tonight, this is a half-mile high-banked oval, 150 laps, 75 race miles. It's going to go by really quick. 4 sets of tires, 1 on the car, 3 in the pits, 75% fuel, 1 fast repair. Lucky Dog is on. Wave rounds are on. No restart zone, so the leader can dictate when they want to go. 1 green-white checker attempt, which we hope we do not see. And the pit road speed limit, I forget what it is, but whatever it is, it's too darn slow. Going 35. Green. Oh, and Lewis Hayes did not get off to a good start there.
Yeah, spun the rears up a little bit. That's easy to do, especially when you come off the transition over there, off of one of these corners. It's really doggone difficult to not spin the tires. Michael Goodman got a good jump out to a couple of tenths of a second lead.
Oh, going 3 wide. Richie Hearn back in the back. Oh, Richie's going side around.
We got a big mess. Richie Hearn, the 77 of Tim Fielder involved.
Or Hugo's in it again.
You know, you're not supposed to take Dale Jr.'s advice. You know, when you see a wreck, you're not supposed to go get in it.
Oh, and he just got, I don't think that was netcode. I think he just got loose. And, oh, wow, on the high side there, the clapper gets through. But got the 57 with that Black Magic design paint job is now all scuffed up.
Yeah, it's just, you know, and that's real easy to do. Just like anything else, you got heavy fuel, cold tires. Richie just got that in there, and it snapped loose with him, and that car took a lick. That car absolutely took a lick. So, now we're 42 of 150, so you're a third of the way through. So now the fast repair becomes a much more viable option, Gary. Although Richie's car doesn't look too torn up.
No, I think he pancaked the wall more than anything. He got sent around. There is Aridani coming, getting the wave around. So yeah, I believe that's now our third caution. So I'm gonna mark this down. The most cautions we've had in a race in the series for this particular series. This is it right here. We are now setting records for every caution we hit here in the Xfinity Series. 3 cautions. The max that we've ever had before this was 2. Back in the Richmond, so 3 here. The most in league history was 7, and that was at, of all places, Michigan in the Truck Series, back at round 4 of season 1 of the Trucks. They had 7 cautions there for 21 laps. Here, we were already off to 3, and we're not yet quite well, we're just past halfway of halfway.
Yeah, nearly 1/3 completed. And even though we're working our third caution, this race has gone by extremely quickly. We're down 20 minutes down, and we're a third down. I mean, this thing, if we get any kind of green flag run, this race is going to be over at 10:45 maybe Eastern. That would be tremendous. Get some sleep, right, Gary?
Getting plenty of that. I want to thank everyone for joining us here on FTN. If you enjoy P1's coverage of the ISRA Xfinity Series on FTN, you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure to support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you don't miss out on future P1 and FTN iRacing broadcasts. And there'll be a lot of them here on FTN. And we do want to thank FTN for hosting the remainder of the ISRA Xfinity Series until they will be on the channel until August 5th. And then they'll do a week off, and according to the admin, they will return a week after an off week, and they will be back in the trucks. And we will have that on P1 when the new channel is all set up. Getting ready to go green, coming to lap 47 of 150. Again, thanks everyone for joining us tonight.
Absolutely, we're getting ready to turn these guys loose again. They're going to come to get lap 47 started. Michael Goodman stands on the gas, and he'll leave Chris Reagan and Brian Grandin fighting over second and third. I didn't get away that.
No, but it was a good jump there by Reagan. And again, these top 2 have not stopped.
And that's enough. That's enough, Gary. As long as he can get away, get some heat in his tires, he's going to be just fine. It's you're most vulnerable when you're doing what he's doing. You're most vulnerable 5 laps into the first 5 laps of the run. After that, it's going to start to equalize because there's not really, where's the tread, but there's not really a huge fall off in grip. I'm watching Richie Hearn all over the back of Big John Von Varelis here. He's hunting away back toward the front. He might have bent the back of that 70 a little bit, but he is definitely still fast.
Here is a shot for the lead. Evans to the low side of our points leader Goodman. Put Evans to the lead. Those that have yet to stop, Goodman, Chris Reagan, and we got one more up there. Who is it? Brandon Graydon right there in the green 3, or the lime green 3. These are the 3 who have yet to stop. And they are on a little bit of a split strategy. At this point, I got to think that they're going to stay out as long as possible.
Yeah, there's you've made your bed. Now you got to lay in it. I think Michael Goodman might be okay. Chris Reagan's going to be okay. And so is Brian Grandin. They're just going to, they need the tires on the other cars to heat up, get settled in, and start running. By the way, as a sports fan, I would be remiss, Gary, if I did not mention a little bit of news out of the baseball world.
Go ahead.
It is one of my favorite days in all of sport, July 1. You know what July 1st is?
No, it can't be the end of the trade deadline for baseball.
It is not the trade deadline.
Normally it's when the Red Sox are out of the playoffs.
So July 1, every year, Richie Hearn's slow on the top of the racetrack. I think he's hurt that 70 with some contact, but he's going to bring it to pit road here. Richie Hearn going to hit pit road. His evening may be done. He's going to lose at least 2, if not 3 laps here if you're going to pit under green. So a tough break for Richie Hearn there as he crawls 35 miles an hour toward his pit box down the full length pit road here. July 1 is Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yes, where they are going to have to, because of that deal he signed with the Mets, it was so lucrative in his case that he's going to get paid a couple $1 million a year, every year up until about 2035 or something like that.
Every year on July the 1st, Bobby Bonilla gets a check from the New York Metropolitans for $1.19 million. It's $1.19 million every year. The deal was structured for 20 years, and so it started. He's about halfway through it. It started in 2013 or 14, I believe. The agreement was made in 2000. The Mets made that agreement to get him off of their team, and if I'm not mistaken, he only played a couple dozen games for them. He also has a similar deal with the Baltimore Orioles that pays him $500,000 a year every year.
That's a good agent right there.
So Bobby Bonilla gets $1.7 million every year on this date from 2 teams that he played a combined 100 games for, maybe. But it's one of my favorite days. Where the memes that come out on Bobby Bonilla Day are tremendous, and it's really just kind of a metaphor. As a Braves fan, it's a huge metaphor for the general incompetence of the management of the New York Mets. Meanwhile, let's give a call down to the double odd of the host with the most, Mike Rigney. He's got that baby up to 6, Mike. He's driving the bottom. He's got a fast car. He's going to the front. Richie Hearn, by the way, back out now. He is 3 laps in arrears.
Yeah, he went ahead and executed the fast repair. We got a number of people that executed the fast repair. I actually got that number now. Let's go back and take a look at last week's winner, Vern Hawkins. He is now up to 4th. Those who have executed the fast repair, starting with Matt Wagner. Matty Wagner has executed his fast repair. Iridani has executed their fast repair. Gallas has executed their fast repair. Euler, Hearn, and Callisto all have executed their fast repairs.
I also have fast repairs for Hawkins, Flanagan, and Kirby.
Yes, you do.
And so, you know, you might think, okay, well, if I did a fast repair, I'll go ahead and take it easy and not try to get up in the mix. Hawkins, Flanagan, obviously not thinking that way, running 4th and 5th. You've got Kirby, who's 8th. So just because you've done that doesn't necessarily mean you're in bad shape. Or it just means that you forgot to uncheck the button and got a little door dang, and now you got repaired.
Well, we are quickly coming to the halfway point. If you're just joining us, this is P1's coverage of the ISRA Xfinity Series on FTN, coming to you from Bristol, baby. We've completed now 70 of 150 laps. If you're enjoying P1's coverage of tonight's race on FTN and would like to monetarily support us, please find the link to our GoFundMe campaign in the stream description. We realize times are tough, so any donation, no matter the amount, is greatly appreciated.
Now, I was going to say that there was a huge knot of cars from 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. I was going to say that. But Richie Hearn came through there. He is about the fastest car on the track right now. He came through and busted up that knot. And I would not be surprised to think maybe there's a little bit of red mist behind the helmet of behind the virtual helmet of the number 70, because he is flying. He's all over the back of Jake Euler right now. That is for position, by the way.
Yeah, and if you're watching if you're not used to the ISRA, you're a regular fan of FTN, and you're just joining and you're kind of watching this. This was on another channel before, and the guys in FTN are greatly been a nice group of guys and allowed us to host our races over here for the remainder of the season. But if you're not familiar with Richie, that is the man who finished. Although Euler almost finds the turn 2 or turn 1 barrier there, that is the man who finished 3rd in the 1996 Indy 500, the real Indy 500. Richie Hearn has one real IndyCar win under his belt, and also holds the qualification track record at Chicagoland in an IndyCar as well. So this is the genuine article Richie Hearn here in the 70.
And a doggone good sim racer if we can keep his cat from chewing through his Ethernet cord.
That's true.
Doggone good sim racer. He's going underneath Big John. So he's got track position now on Euler. One more lap up to 17th, and Hugo Gala is. But that last lap, 14.974 for Richie Hearn. Full 10th. Quicker than Greg Evans leading the race. So Richie is, there are only a handful of cars in that 14-second bracket, and Richie is the fastest of them.
Well, now we're starting to get separated out now, so we're getting big gaps between people, and the racing is not as quite as intense that we are looking at a possible long green flag run.
I hope so. This series, Gary, known for long green flag runs, known for kind of the cerebral part of it.
Yeah, here's a whole host of cars right here. We got Hawkins in there. Got Pepto Joe. There's a lot of. There's a lot of beating and banging going on here. So we got a lot of Grandin's back in this group. He bails. We got Callisto up in the wall. He's among the points leaders, but he's having a rough day. The 44, again. Clapper's in 3rd. Hawkins in the purple car. The purple, he's last week's winner. And the 14 there. He's gone from orange and black to the purple and black. In not quite homage, because last week was more, we kept saying orange and black is more AJ Foyt. I guess purple and black is more, I don't know, Buddy Lazier, maybe? I don't know. Anyways, Hawkins is 4th, and Rigney is he's piloted that thing. He's up past that whole group of guys, although Kirby is right behind him. That is a battle for position. So this is 5th and 6th.
Lionel Callisto just called Uncle and went to the pit lane, by the way.
Yeah, he's going up on jacks there, getting a new set of tires, but they're going to try to have to beat out some of that damage on the side of his car. And
that's always kind of a part of Bristol. Do do you sit in pit lane and fix it, or do you just go out and race the damaged car?
Kirby around Rigney for 5th.
Lionel has waved the white flag. He's disconnected. So sad to see Lionel Callisto go, one of the preeminent drivers in the series.
That is the Truck Series champion. So not having a great day, and this look, Bristol's not for everybody. And watching Hawkins and Clapper, I think Kirby, Clapper had a little help there. Let's go back and watch that one.
Well, he did, but I don't necessarily think that's Vern's fault. I think what happened was, if you go on board with Clapper, it's gonna tell the story.
He smacked the wall coming off of 4, and then kind of pulls up in front of Vern, and a little bit of a punt, but not too, as you mentioned, not really anything Vern did wrong there. But that punt to the inside wall had to hurt.
It does.
Here comes Kirby on Hawkins here. This is a battle for 3rd. 91 of 150.
Meanwhile, Hugo's going to bring the Tide Ride to pit lane. Move Richie Hearn up to 16th. Mike Rigney is all over Evan Clapper now for that would be for 5th spot. Host.
Rigney up to 5th. Clapper back to 6th. Clapper's running damaged. He has not used his fast repair, so whenever he hits pit road, he could execute that. Now that we are into the second half of the race, a little bit more comfortable hitting that.
14 and 57 get together. 14, come on, Vern. Vern's got it. I think Pepto Joe's going to have to break out the Pepto before the end of this one. Holy mackerel.
And here comes Rigney now battling. Hawkins up into the wall battling Rigney. Rigney now around. So Rigney up to 4th. Here's Justin Kirby. He's all by himself in 3rd. Sam Crow all by himself in 2nd. And Evans all by himself as the leader.
And look who has crept up into 8th. Now this guy started 18th in this race. I'm guessing because he smacked the wall in qualifying. He's been nowhere. He's used a fast repair, and all of a sudden the stock car ace Matty Wagner is in 8th. How about that? And speaking of how's about you, Justin Kirby was all over, and I mean all over the back of Chris Reagan. Reagan, without those new tires, has fallen well off the pace.
Yeah, he is 97 laps on these current set of tires. Same thing with Goodman, 97 laps.
Goodman's pulled it down pit road now. He's said no more.
But this is his final stop.
Well, now theoretically, the guys who pitted the guys who pitted under that caution, they theoretically that is their final stop. Now they've been out there for 60 some odd laps, right? 63 laps. But theoretically, Evans and Crow and them guys, Rigney, they can make it to the end. Now, whether or not they have any traction when they get there is a different question. But,
well, we could tell you that it's 64 laps for this current stint that Evans is on. Crow, 64 laps for his current stint. Kirby, 57. So it's going to be a little tight for Kirby. Rigney, 64 laps on his stint. Vern Hawkins is 64 laps on his stint. Pepto Joe, 64 laps on his stint. Matty Wagner, 57, now 58 laps on his stint. It's going to be pretty close for him.
It is. So I'm going to start looking at lap times. Greg Evans, Sam Crow, Justin Kirby, just right around 15 flat. So, the even you come get new tires, you're only going to be a couple of tenths a lap quicker than those guys. 16 flat. So I take that back. Michael Goodman came out and did a 15 4 34
yeah.
15 2. So he's about a second a lap quicker. Now, how long is that going to last? You know what I mean? Because you're going to go. Goodman went 3 laps down to execute that pit stop under green. We got the 77 coming to pit road. That's
Tim Fiedler. Yep.
Yep. So he's on the pit lane. Evan Clapper has come in and hit pit road. Say Lewis Hayes coming to pit lane. All these guys now making their stops. They're bailing out of these tires. I think, you know, everybody's got race labs. Everybody knows they saw Goodman come in. They saw him get those tires, and they saw him immediately go a second a lap quicker. You know, you see that. You know, and you understand, hey, I may need to come get me some of those.
There you see the race summary. 3 cautions for 14 laps, 1 lead change. Here's the weather information too as well. Not anything we got to worry about tonight here at Bristol.
No, fairly cool, 67 degrees. Track's about 75, so that's just about as good as you can make it. The track is concrete, so it's not as temperature sensitive. I am of the opinion that all concrete racetracks should be ripped up and either turned into dirt or fishing ponds. Not a fan of the concrete. The reason they put the concrete in here back in the day.
And here's the power of, sorry, not to cut you off. Here's the power of new tires. The 44 around on the high side of our leader Evans. So now Evans at some point's got to start thinking, I need to hit pit road. I am giving up a lot of time, and I'm now in the final third of the race now. Well,
what you're thinking about is, okay, if they're a second a lap quicker than me, it's going to take, and he maybe thinks he can make it. So if they're a second a lap quicker, it's going to take them 15, 30. It's going to take them 30 laps to unlap themselves twice, 45 laps to get back on the lead lap, and then another 50. So it's going to take them 60 laps they essentially have to pass him 4 times.
Here's Crow. Also, Crow here has a bunch of faster traffic trying to get around him. Crow trying to hang on to second spot. And Kirby in the 57 in their first race here in the season, or in the series. Welcome to the series. And he is looking really good here in P3, and he's not that far off of Sam Crow. Crow in the using the middle line. Kirby using the high line.
Yellow. Yellow's out.
Brandon Graydon, I think. Oh, yes, Brandon Graydon and Chris Reagan.
What have we here?
So we'll see. This looks like it's coming off. Oh, Graydon gets loose between 3 and 4. Reagan goes low to get the position. And just a little bit of contact, and then synchronized spinning down the front stretch.
Yeah, it's just that same kind of deal. You know, you just come together off that corner, and it's really hard to avoid. Here's the thing, though. We had everybody but the top 7.
Okay, here we go. Evans coming in.
Yeah, the front of the field.
Crow's going to come in. Kirby's coming in. Everybody's coming in. Matty Wagner coming in. Pepto Joe coming in. Who else is not? Is anyone going to stay out? Rick D going to stay out.
So Von Barella's, Indriani, Reagan, Say Lewis Hayes, they're going to stay out because they're 1 lap down. So they're going to get put. They're going to get put back on the tail end. The front 7, they're on the lead lap. It's no brainer. You have to stop. Everybody else is going to stay out, but that's the risk you take. Yeah,
Rick D. It looks like Rick D is staying out.
And I mean, would you gamble?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, why the heck not, right?
Now, well, maybe now he just wanted to maybe get credit for a lap, which I'm not sure he led. I think he did. And now he's coming to pit road, but he gave up some track position to do so. Although there's only 10 cars on the lead lap, and everybody that's we'll see who's executed a fast repair as well here, updated that list.
Well, now the guys that were 8, 9, 10, 11, and so on, they've all stopped. They're all stopping now, so they're going to stay a lap down.
Yeah. I think everyone's decided they're going to come in for those tires. Evans, Crow, Kirby, Rigney now in 4th. Matt Wagner moving up to 5th. A number of cars in front of our leader. Hugo Gall is one of them. The 44 is another one of them. Evan Clapper. And Tim Fiedler. They will, I think, ultimately get the wave arounds here.
Yeah, in front of the leader is going to get the wave.
Also involved there is Goodman. Goodman will get the wave around. Who else is there? Hawkins will get a wave around. And then, yeah, so they will all get the wave around. There they go.
Hugo's in that bunch. We're going to have about a 30 lap deal to end this.
It'll by quick.
8 minutes. It does not take much time. If we don't get cautions, we'll be in really good shape here. Be interesting to see if Greg Evans or if Sam Crow can take the fight to Greg Evans here.
And there they go. And they are teammates. They have worked with each other before. So there they, and here goes Kirby down low for the position in 1 and 2. Give him the position, move him up to 2nd to Kirby. Kirby's been up at the front all day today. And we're cautioned again, and I'm not sure who.
I've got Rick D. He's racing with Michael Goodman, and that would be the 9 that's spinning in front of him. So that's Eliza Indriani. So Indriani goes down into turn 3 and just car kicks loose with him. Around he goes and collects. What a lick. Gonna collect the 83, 44 and 77 there.
Oh, there, the car just gets loose. Ooh. Vern just slides through. Oh, Rick had no place to go. Poor Rick.
No, and that's the other thing. You know, you kind of mention different stuff about that's unique to a place like Bristol. You'll kind of see this if you ever run super late models at Pensacola, maybe. You really can't especially if you're on the bottom, you really cannot see the exit of the corner from the entrance. And when you're driving it, you're almost looking up and to the right.
Here's the impact here with Rick. And Pal. Oh.
Poor Rick. Rick has disconnected, and what a shame. He was having a heck of a good run.
All right, so now we are looking at a less than a 25 lap sprint to the end here. Evans, Kirby, Crow, Rigney, Wagner, your top 5. And let's bring up the points to remind people what's their. So Goodman, currently our points leader, is in 13th and struggling at the moment. Crow, who is in 2nd in the points, might actually come out of this race if he can finish where he is, and we're still 25 laps from the end here still. But if Crow could finish where he is, he might have enough points in order to move him. So I think he will have enough points to move him into the points lead in this championship. Then we'll see right now currently Wagner, who's 3rd in the points, is 5th on the racetrack. So this is boding well for him because he is ahead of Crow, but unfortunately ahead of Goodman, but behind Crow. And also with Callisto 4th of the points out, he's getting more, putting more distance between himself and Callisto. Flanagan, in fact, might even have the position over Callisto at the end of this race. So the top 5 is very fluid at the moment in this point situation.
Most certainly is, and look, I mean, you know, this is one of those races that can really mix the points up. It's almost as everybody look at Talladega as the wild card, but Bristol is just as much. And you just saw why. One car gets loose, you can't really see him. You get off the gas a little bit, the car behind you can't see the car in front of them, or the car in front getting loose. The next thing you know, cars are piled on top of each other.
Here we go. Restart at 126. Maybe 127. And we got Evans now side-by-side battle for second. Kirby and Crow.
Now, if Evans and Crow are talking, now's the time you want to, and Crow's going to give it up, but that's the time you want to get on the horn of your teammate and say, hey, can you race that guy hard? Because he's kind of...
Well, I mean, that's also when you're also on the same comms with each other, that you could time that restart. So both you and your teammate who's actually starting behind you will, you'll follow your teammate up through the gap.
Or even more so, you'll let each other know you can't really, and we're trading purple laps now. Greg Evans and Justin Kirby trading laps.
Pepto Joe on the backside of Rigney right now. So the top five, and actually the Pepto Joe got around Wagner. Wagner's back down to sixth. He's the last car. Actually, not the last car. Reagan is the last car on the lead lap. But Wagner in sixth, Reagan in seventh. Those top seven all on the lead lap. 19 to go. Your leader is Evans, looking for yet another win here in the series.
Indeed. It's a battle of the top against the bottom, it would appear. Kirby on the top, you got Evans on the bottom. I don't think anybody else is going to get to them. 134 completed.
Watching this battle here, Evans has won round 4 at Charlotte, round 5 at Dover, very similar in many aspects to what we're running here. Then also won in a great shootout battle at the end of New Hampshire. Then the tables kind of turned on him and at Atlanta and at Kansas, where late race battles did not go his way. In fact, Kansas, a little contact there on the white flag lap really cost him a good finish there. So that was his first non-podium finish last week at Kansas. This week, looking to go back on that top step and maybe using last week as a little bit of motivation, as he's now starting to put a little bit of space between himself and Kirby here. 13 to go.
Inching ever so slightly. Greg Evans, 14.815 to a 14.840 for Justin Kirby that time. Just ever so slightly inching away for Greg Evans. And he's moved to the top now, too. If you notice that, Gary.
Yes.
The 7 was right around the bottom. Now he's moved up the racetrack. So you can't really block somebody here, just because the top and the bottom can be equally fast at times. But there's definitely a preferred line. Like, everybody's got the way they like to do it. And in some cases, it's just a matter of personal preference. It's one of the things you can do if you're leading a race, move up into that guy's line a little bit.
10 to go. Again, everybody, if you have not done so already, make sure thumbs up, subscribe, and notify. We'd really appreciate that, and want to thank FTN and again for their cooperation on allowing us to bring the ISRA last couple of races here of their season on to FTN.
Absolutely, definitely thank them for that. Watching the lead of this race, Greg Evans, ever so slightly pulling ahead of Justin Kirby, just inching away. Not much.
And yeah, we're pretty much status quo. I think everyone has spent everything they have. So Evans now looking to go 4 out of the last 6 and 5 out of the last 6 on the podium.
And that's a championship effort. Like that's how you win championships in series and in iRacing.
And remember, he didn't start the season at the same time as everyone else, so he's kind of making up for lost ground, coming to 4 to go.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how you do it. You know, you win, and if you can't win, you stand on a podium. If you can't stand on a podium, get a top 5. Just get the maximum out of your stuff every week. You don't necessarily have to win every week, but you need to be up in the money more often than you're not. Coming to, what do we got? 3 to go?
Yep.
My overlay stopped working. So.
Okay, so if that happens, he's using an overlay. We're doing it for training here a little bit. That happens. All you need to do is just close the theme or reopen the theme. You don't need to stop. You don't need to close ATVO. Unless ATVO locked up, and then what you need to do is you need Task Manager. But coming to white flag in the air. Final lap.
Don't need a special computer program to tell you who was the class of the field tonight. Greg Evans.
Yeah, Greg Evans looking 4 out of the last 6 for the victory. Cruising for the win tonight at Bristol.
What about Justin Kirby on debut? Going to take second. Round out the top 3 for Sam Crow.
And that might be what gets him into the points lead.
May very well. Pepto Joe brings it home 4th, and Mike Rigney. Solid run 5th. Matt Wagner 6th. Last car on the lead lap, and what a wonderful recovery it was for Chris Reagan, in 7th. I had Evans on the mind there.
Whatever it is, I have survived this thing. So I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled.
Well, math does not lie. We'll see how that shakes out here in the moment when Rigney gets a chance to update the points. But let's talk about your race. Had a couple near misses there, but kept everything clean for the most part. I don't think you used a fast repair at all, so it was in terms of that aspect, it was a pretty clean race for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, I had, as far as I know, I had no incidences whatsoever.
Wow.
There was a little around lap 40 or so. Um, Richie Hearn and someone else. We were three wide, and I was on the bottom as far as I could be. And then I looked in the rear view and saw Richie spinning. I have had a chance just to quickly go back and look at it, and there was a lot of net code, and so, but I didn't get anything out of that. I hate that Richie got spun. I really have great respect for Richie, and I hate that he got the short end of that stick. But other than that, I kept it clean, and I'm very proud of that tonight, considering the difficulty of the track and the field as well as a tough field.
Go ahead, Murph.
Yeah, Sam. Once again,
Hey, Mark, how are you?
we're here, and showing up's half the battle, right? You keep showing up on the podium, and that's an amazing thing. You're going to come out of here the points leader, I believe, according to Gary's math, which is much stronger than mine.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Tell us though.
I didn't lead a lap tonight, so I didn't get that bonus point.
You know, my Ball State math, which is kind of fuzzy at times,
Ball State
tells me that you could have thought about making it from that first pit stop. Could you have made it, or were you gonna have to come down under green?
Oh no. Well, after the first pit stop, and then we got into the really long green flag run. Greg and I had full intentions of staying out to the end of the race.
Okay.
So we were 10 laps to the good, actually.
Okay.
So when the late caution came out, and we decided to go ahead and get tires again with however many laps were left, 30 or 40 laps left, we just decided to go ahead and extra fuel the cars so that we wouldn't run into a tight condition on a hot run.
Makes perfect sense to me. Well done, Sam.
Thank you guys so much, man. I'm thrilled. It was funny because before the last restart, I told Greg, man, I said, I got this weird gut feeling. It don't feel right. I hope my gut's wrong. I said, I hope my gut's wrong, but it turned out really good. Justin was extremely strong, and I'm telling you guys, I'm having the iRacing time of my life right now. I am just enjoying it.
Good deal. Well, keep going fast and having fun, brother. That's the main thing.
Yeah, doing that and having fun is a big part of it, because it's no fun when you're not. I mean, so these leagues can sometimes suck the fun out of things, and when you're having fun, that makes all the difference in the world.
No, I agree with that. And then, I've had some conversations with some other guys that are racing here, and it's easy to get discouraged if things aren't going right. And so I completely understand that. But on the other side, frame of mind will get you a long way. A good attitude will get you far in this life. So whether it's iRacing or anything else.
That's true. Shout outs, friends, families, teammates, sponsors. Anyone want to say hi to before we let you go? Michigan's next. So you've dodged one of the big bullets here coming to the end of the season. Still a couple more to go.
Don't say it. Don't say the dreaded T word, Gary. Don't do it.
Well, you still got Darlington, which is tough, and you
love
still
Darlington. I don't care about Darlington. I love Darlington.
Okay, and you still got Nashville, which I don't know how the stock car guys feel about Nashville, but as an IndyCar guy, Nashville, those races are the worst because it's just single file the entire time. I don't know how stock car guys feel about that, but I would rank that right up there as a possible bullet, because if in IndyCar, if you don't qualify well up there at Nashville, at the Nashville Super Speedway, and you don't if you don't qualify well, you're just not going to finish well, because it's almost impossible to pass with IndyCar. I would imagine maybe a little bit easier with the stock cars, but I always considered Nashville kind of a bullet, but maybe not.
My experience with the Xfinity cars at Nashville has been that anytime that you're racing concrete, it depends on your driving style, how well you're going to preserve the tires anyway. But the specificity of the lanes passing there are so narrow. In fact, I even remember some of the Cup guides bringing that up in the broadcast this past weekend. Is that the racing lines there is so narrow, but there is a line that's just a hair up, and it's very difficult to run that line, especially making passes. So we'll see how it goes. We'll just see how it goes. I'm just showing up and telling myself I want to have a good time and just make the most of my time, and so far it's working for me, and I'm just having a ball.
Shout outs.
Shout outs, absolutely. You guys get every bit of it because you're doing such a fantastic job. If you're listening to the broadcast tonight, guys, so into this this broadcast company. They are really putting their heart and soul into it. Let me encourage you to do that. They have a GoFundMe page. Also, I just want to mention my own private label, Ghost Sim Lab, that's on the car always. I have a few cars that are painted in the field tonight, and then a big shout out to my teammates, John Van Varelis, Lewis Hayes, Greg Evans, Rick Fallis, Mike Rigney. Those guys, I can't thank them enough for their friendship and their support.
P3 tonight. I think I will say we dodged a bullet because you never know with Bristol. But next week, the more wide open spaces of Michigan. We will see you then.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Sam.
And let's bring up next. It would be Justin Kirby. And for his first race, we'll bring him up now. Hey, Justin, got you here in the booth with Gary and Mark. Congratulations. First of all, welcome to the league. And second of all, debut P2. Well, it can't get much better than that other than getting the win. And for a while there, you were knocking on the door, but eventually Greg was able to keep you at bay and kind of run away with it there in the last 25 laps of that last little sprint. But a good run for you, nevertheless. Started up front, stayed up front, and finished up front.
Oh yeah, thanks guys. Appreciate being in here. I mean, it's been a long time since I run with these guys because I ran with Mike and Sam and Joe back when he initially started this thing, and Lewis too on 2K3. So being back and running with the guys, I mean, it's the nostalgia hit pretty hard. It was a lot of fun, and just had to be smart. And I got caught up in a little bit of stuff early on where when Richie spun out and I had to use my fast repair early, so just had to keep the rears on it, be smart on the long run, just keep not overdrive it and kill the right front and see where it ended up, and it got me the track position I needed on that long run to be able to do what I did there at the end.
Go ahead, Murph.
Yeah, man. So Justin, second on debut, got a good looking hot rod. I noticed that Evans kind of moved his line a little bit there the last 10 laps or so.
Yeah, I know. Right?
You were closing him down. Talk about how that kind of plays with it. It's not aero, but that does throw you off a little bit, doesn't it?
Well, it's a small part aero because the aero wash on these things can be a bit of a pain, especially with how much center corner speed we got here. But it was more so I was getting greedy because I saw how good of runs I was getting coming off, but I hadn't taken fuel in the car, so I was a little on the tight side anyways. But I was more thinking it's like if I can get around him if I can get on his high side, that's going to be it. But so I got greedy. He came up. Ended up using up whatever I had left in the tires because I just kept driving in too deep, and I had to lay back a little bit, get that right front cool back down, and by then I'd already used him up, and he was too far gone.
Well, nevertheless, a good debut. I suspect that we'll see more of the same when we get to Michigan next week. Fast guys always tend to be fast there as well. But any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors you want to say hi to before we let you go?
Just the guys at Black Magic Motorsports. A lot of help that they've given us through the last year or so, and in another league that we had run in before We had seen this. Brent, my brother, he should be here next week for his debut. So there's going to be two of us in here. He's also the original, so it's going to be a good time. We'll get some laps in and do what we can. And thanks for Mike for starting ISRA back up and give me the honor to be able to run with these guys again. And you guys for broadcasting us and showing off our shenanigans and what messes we can make. So,
no problem. It's our pleasure. Well, thanks for being a part of it. And congratulations on the debut. And we'll catch you and the brother next week for his debut.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Yeah. All right. So still waiting on. Let me do a refresh here. See if points have updated yet. I don't think they have. I think there's a little bit of manual work that Rigney needs to do here to update these. So we'll see when we bring up Evans, Mr. Evans here in the booth. We'll bring him up. Here he is, Greg in the booth here with Gary and Mark. A little bit of motivation to do well this week after the finish last week, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted to come back and get back in the rhythm of things.
Right.
But, last week, man, it was just hard racing. No bad blood between me and the 14. It was both of us going for it, and that's just racing sometimes, unfortunately. But yeah, we definitely wanted to bounce back this evening, and was able to do so. So happy back in victory lane.
Before we get into any of the race strategies, I've moved to a different livery this week. Not a believer of the green jinx.
No, I was trying to get more like a army green, but just kind of got more of a I don't know what you call that green, but
olive.
I kind of wanted to do like a red, white, and blue, and I just did not want to spend the time to do it, so I was trying to do something like that. But we'll probably hopefully this week I'll have some more time to put something else together. But yeah, just hope everybody has a happy July 4th.
Oh, for sure.
Trying to do a little bit of a military scheme there.
Well, I know that there's the number of superstitions that drivers, well, just generally people in sports. Wade Boggs, for instance, always used to eat a full chicken before every game. I forget the number of players that absolutely wouldn't step on the baselines when they're going to them from the field. Number of drivers say that they don't like the green car because the green car brings bad luck, but obviously wasn't the case today. The green car brought all the luck with the win. And I know Mark will want to get into talking about pit strategy and everything, but talk about your race. You never really had to execute that fast repair. Everything was kind of happening behind you. Any close calls there, or just kind of I don't want to say a standard Bristol race, because we've seen that Bristol races can go south, but only 5 cautions in this one, not too bad.
No, but first of all, I used to actually run a duct tape. My wife works for duct tape, sure tape, so I used to have like a really, really bright green car, and I was able to win with it a few times. So
okay,
competitions there, but you don't eat peanuts at the racetrack either. So, but yeah, just after the first run, I felt like I was faster than 28, but I knew I was going to let him burn his tires off to make the pass. But we had that caution, and I started kind of doing the math in my head, and I even told him after the race, I said, man, I almost stayed out with you, but I felt like tires are going to be key, and I know we only had 3 sets, so we were close enough to being a quarter away through the race to go ahead and take them. And like I said, I've ran Bristol races where it's just carnage, and then sometimes whenever you do stay out, it goes caution free, and that's kind of what happened here tonight. And unfortunately, he got stuck out there, and I think he had to do a green flag pit stop.
Yep.
And you just couldn't. I didn't want to take that chance. I didn't want to lose the race trying strategy. I just wanted to win the race doing what I felt was right. So it worked out for us tonight, and I was cruising there with about 40 laps ago, and then we had that caution, and I was like, man, here we go. But I was able to get a pretty good restart. I knew the 57 and the 8 were going to be really, really aggressive, and I wasn't really able to run the line I was all night on that last run, but I felt like the 57 was a little bit faster running the top grooves. I had to move up and kind of run that groove until his tires burn off. But yeah, overall a good night. Just it was one of those races at Bristol that you get that long green flag run in the middle, and you just don't know if it's going to happen and when it's going to happen. But I was thankful for the first one, but not so much for the second one.
Go ahead, Murph.
Yeah, so we know from Sam that you guys could have made it on gas. We also saw the guys that bet against the caution and came down and got tires. Was there ever a point where you looked and saw how much faster they were and considered coming in to cover them, or were you confident that not stopping was the way to go?
Oh yeah, there was no chance of stopping there. Sam asked me about 50 laps to go, I was like on a pit, and I was thinking, like, I'm 10 laps to the good. I don't think I want to do that. And I was kind of wondering, did I save fuel, or if I run in the bottom? No, not when you're running the bottom, you're really coasting in the corner and very easy on the gas coming off. I was thinking, well, man, maybe I'm just saving a lot of gas, and he's really close. But yeah, there was never any or any thought of pitting there. To be honest with you, I was probably running 60-70% right there on that last run. My tires just felt really good, and I was kind of in a rhythm running the bottom, and yeah, I never even thought about it.
Well, next up is Michigan. I would suspect that you raced pretty good there, considering kind of how well you did at Charlotte and Atlanta and Kansas. But before we get there, you got a chance to do some shout outs and say hi to friends, families, and sponsors. So go right ahead.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to Michigan. Usually run pretty good there, but we've got to thank Freightliner and Sim Magic and Sim Labs. All my teammates over here: Sam Crow, John Vinvarelis, Lewis Hayes. Thanks for Rigby for inviting me and putting on the show. And like I always say, man, whenever these things are broadcast, it just makes it so much better, so much more realistic, so much more intense. And it's always fun to kind of go back and then listen to you guys call it when you win. It kind of sucks when you wreck going into turn one on the last lap, but you got to take the good with the bad. But it does make it a lot more intense, a lot more special. And thank you guys for doing that for us.
Yeah, no problem. Well, thanks for being here. Congratulations on the win. 4 out of the last 6. 5 out of the last 6 on the podium. Going to Michigan next. We will see you then.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a good one and have a happy and safe July 4th weekend.
You the same.
Yes, sir.
Well, it would if we came in tonight to an average, if we just told an average person that we were going to have a pretty decent sized field, and I'm going to say at Bristol we were going to have 84% green flag racing, what would you have said?
I would have said we're going to have a pretty good race.
Well, knowing this league, that's entirely possible. But if you didn't know this league, and if, let's say you were even watching a cup race here at Bristol, and someone says you're going to see 84% of that cup race, especially after watching everything they went through in Nashville this weekend.
That's why I didn't watch the Nashville
expect
race.
To say 84% green flag rate. I would say you'd be hard pressed to find someone, and even for you to tell me that's probably going to be the case. You'll be like, no way. There's just no way it's going to be 84% green flag running. But that's kind of what we got today. But that's kind of to know. That's the MO. That is the modus operandi here with this group. That's their MO. A lot of green flag racing.
It is, and it lends to, even at Bristol in a race where there really wasn't much fuel strategy. There really wasn't much tire strategy. But because they have such long green flag runs, and because they're so respectful of one another, even though we had some cautions today, 2 of them were just, self spins. It wasn't guys running over each other. It was just genuine, hey, one guy made a mistake, or
it happens.
Right back. Yeah. I mean, these things are incredibly hard to drive in this track. This track is not forgiving, and so to once again have a short track race of all things, we didn't have a single instance of using the chrome horn. We didn't have any of that. We had guys racing clean throughout. We had a couple of misjudgments. That's bound to happen when you're going around a half mile half mile in 15 seconds. It's not Winchester, but it's close. And so, it's not Salem, but it's close. And so, just again, it speaks to the quality of this league. And I think Mike Rigney's hit on something pretty awesome here, where you got a group of guys that are dedicated to clean and respectful and hard-nosed racing, and you get some green flag runs, and even you can turn Bristol into something that requires a couple of different schools of thought. We saw that with the short pit. Had it played out green, we're sitting there doing the math, right? I mean, they wouldn't have got there, but it would have been interesting to see, as the pressure turned up on Greg Evans and Sam Crow and Justin Kirby, exactly what their thought process would have been. Okay, now they're 3 laps down, now they're 2 laps down, now they're 1 lap down, now they're back on the lead lap, right? Is this going to work? And that would have been such an amazing thing, and unfortunately that got ruined. But it's just a testament to everybody in this league that we even had that thought. Mm-hmm. Because I mentioned to you earlier, I've run a dozen races here in various leagues. I don't think I've ever had more than 10 laps on the green at Bristol without somebody getting run over, or somebody getting knocked out of the way, and people yelling at each other and so forth. And so, just so well done all the way around.
Well, currently we've turned 1,274 laps this season. Only 42 of those laps have been under caution. 9 total cautions all season long for 42 laps. 96.703% of the racing of this league up to this point. And we still have 5 rounds to go. Michigan, Las Vegas, Darlington, Homestead, and Talladega. What did I think we had New Hampshire in there? Not New Hampshire, Nashville in there. Why did I think that? Yeah, we do have New Hampshire on the 12th. So, did we maybe swap Darlington to New Hampshire? I have to go back and look. But anyways, still, that's a lot of green flag racing. So if you like green flag racing, this is the place to come to check out green flag racing. Now, update on the points. Michael Goodman is still the leader by 5 over Sam Crow. Crow over Wagner by 4. Wagner 43 over Flanagan. So now it's starting to come down to a 3-horse race coming into the final 4 or 5 races left of the season. So that's that. We're starting to have a little bit of a breakaway at the front, although only 3 behind Flanagan is Callisto. Callisto, not a great day today. 10 behind Callisto is Rigney. 7 behind Rigney is Hearn. 5 behind Hearn is Say Hey Lewis Hayes. 5 behind Hayes is Greg Evans, so he is now in the top 10. And 28 behind Evans is Rick D. That is your top 10. So it's Goodman, Crow, Wagner, Flanagan, Callisto, Rigney, Hearn, Hayes, Evans, and Rick D, rounding out the remainder of your top 10. I think that's going to do it for tonight. Once again, your podium from Bristol. And it was a good one, where we had Sam Crow, yet another podium, getting closer to that points lead. And he finished 3rd. Justin Kirby, in his debut in the league, comes home 2nd, and Greg Evans for his 4th win in 6 races on the top spot. Join us again next week for round 10 of the ISRA Xfinity Series on FTN as the teams and drivers head to the fast and wide open relative spaces compared to here of Michigan International Speedway. Coverage begins around 9:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's 9:35 p.m. Eastern. As always, for the correct time in your area, you can find everything right here at youtube.com/@FTN Broadcasting. Now, as you know, YouTube algorithm game is not easy, so please help support P1 and FTN with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below, let us know your thoughts on tonight's race, and if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing the like on the video. If you're new, click subscribe, or while you at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out more of P1 and FTN's other iRacing programming. As I mentioned, we will have a lot. Track cams today provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Thank you to Whiplash Sim Cams for being the official camera pack provider of P1 Broadcasting. To learn more about Whiplash and to follow them on Twitter or follow them or like them on Facebook, you can click on their links in today's description. So for Mark Murphy, everyone here at P1, FTN, and the ISRA, I'm Gary Gotzo saying all good night and thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, come on safe. Everyone have a great 4th of July holiday and catch us again right here next week at Michigan for the next race of the ISRA Xfinity Series. Good night.